So hello everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL tutorial Ebikacho by Ebikacho Groups. So basically today we are going to discuss a very important interview set for SQL, which is the top 10 most asked SQL interview questions for TCS in 2025. Okay, so now let's move on and check the questions and try to resolve them. Okay, so our first question will be how to select random record from a table. So if you have a table, then how you can select a random record each time from that particular table. So let's move on SSMS and check the solution for this. So basically let's consider some of table from our database, interview series database we have. So company employees table we will take for this example. Okay, now here you can see we have many records and we will pick up the question from here also and paste it there, then it will be much visible to us. Okay, so you can see we have around 40 rows. Now we will write a query that will fetch each time random records, different records, okay, from company employee table. Okay, so now copy this and then remove the select query from here. Then we will just write simple select star from company employee. Okay, and now top one record we will fetch each time. So top one, and each time we want a random record to be generated. Okay, so here if you see now, so now whenever we are selecting or executing this particular query, we are getting the same record, which is one John Smith. Now we need to write this query in such a way that each time we will execute this query, we will get a random record from the table. Okay, so for that you just need to do a order by, and then you need to write like new id. Okay, so new id function we have already discussed in our previous video, so you can go and check them. So new id basically what it will do, it will generate a random record each time, and by putting it into the order by clause, so we are ordering the record each time by a random series of number. Okay, so now when we execute this, so copy the select this and then execute. So each time you can see currently 40, then again 19, then 4, then 9. So each time we are getting random records. Okay, so this is clear. By applying the order by with new id, we can achieve this particular question. Now move on to the next question, and these are very tricky questions that are asked in TCS interviews. Okay, so be prepared for that. If you are getting any call from TCS, then make sure that this year you will be selected there. Okay, now move on to the second question. So second, what we have, since that you have table employee with a column employee name, okay, which contain records employee name as ABAABDCMA, write a query which will change or swap the employee name A to B and B to A. So basically here we need to write a query that will convert A to B and B to A when we put a select query on the employees table. So basically we have created the employee table on our database. Then we can go and check this particular question there only. Okay, now we can open a new query window. Now paste this, then do comment, and then we have the employee test table. I think this we have the employee table. We can select one time. So here we don't have any record. In which table we have created? One second, let me check. Company employees is here, and all project detail we have. So employees table I think we have in the different database. Okay, or we can create the one, create one here. So we can create this table. So create one temporary table we can create. For creating a temporary table you can use the hash tag. So table one. Oh, okay, now employee table we will keep emplo employee one, and then we need to provide the column name. So column name will be ename, and this will be our varchar 50. Okay, and then close the parenthesis and then close from here. Now we need to insert value into this employee table that will be getting created. So insert statement also we will write insert into, copy this table name and then paste this, and then values. So values what we are going to put, so first will be our A, A, and then comma, we will put B, B, and then A again. Copy this from here, and after this we have A, then again A, then B, copy this B, and then paste this here, and then we have D. So in interviews also, generally you can create the table near to the interviewer so that they can know that table creation and all you have the knowledge, and you are doing a proper development at your company. Okay, so you can use this particular technique also while giving the interviews, of creating tables near the interviewer and taking some time to stretch the interview so that you can interact with the interviewer more and more, and the possibility of your selection will increase from that. Okay, so that will be enough. Now execute this. So create table. So table here we are missing, then that is the reason we are getting the error. Okay, create table, table name, and then insert into the table. So we are going to create this table. Okay, now select star from this table. This is the temporary table, so select star from employee one table, execute this. So this has this kind of record. So now what is our work? Our work is to write a query to swap A from B and B from A. So here we can simply write a case statement that will work for us. So case, then put this from down, then write the case statement. So case when ename, when ename equals to A, then B. Okay, and second statement will be when ename equals to B, then A, else our column ename end as end as ename. Okay, now when you execute this, so here you can see at first row A is there, second row B is there, then third, fourth A is there. So we will mark this particular 4 records, okay, if they have changed or not. Execute this, and then here you can see at one it's B, second A, then B, B. Okay, so this is clear how you can replace the A from B and B from A in a query. So like this you can do. Now move on to the next question. So next question what we have, so write a query to create a clone of an existing table without using create command. Okay, so basically this is also a very important question. So we need to create a table that will have the same structure as one existing table. So in our case we can take the company employee table. So we can take select the star from company employee table, and then what we need to do, we need to clone this particular table. So in two ways we can clone this. So one way is like we will clone this and we will insert all the records from this table also in that particular table. But our second requirement will be like we need to create a empty table with the same structure. So for creating both of them we will see how we can do this. So for creating with all the records, what you need to write, so select star into and then clone one. Clone one means the table name where you want this particular table record to be inserted and table to be created. So clone one table we want to create. Now execute this. So currently you can see we don't have the clone one table. So select star from clone one. If you do now, then we don't have any record, invalid object name. Okay, now when we execute this, select star into clone one from company employee. Now 40 rows has been affected. Now when you execute this, so clone one table is created with all the data that is available in the company employee table. And for cloning the table without any data, what we need to do, we just need to write like select star into clone 2, and we need to give a statement which will never be correct or never be true. So in where condition we can put like 1 equals to 2. So this cannot be possible, 1 will not be equal to 2 anytime. Okay, now when you execute this, so it will create a table for you, but 0 records has been affected because this condition is not true for this particular statement. Now when you execute this, select star from clone to, then you will find the table with same structure but no data. Okay, so this is completely clear. Now move on to the next query or next question. So next question what we have, so these kind of questions are mostly asked by the interviewer, and they will provide you the query on chat and all, and you can fetch the record from there. So table TBL1 has 100 rows and table TBL2 has 0 rows. So number of rows returned by the below query. So here the interviewer wants to check your basic skill as well as how much you have used SQL, that they want to check. Okay, so here what query is given. So select table 1 star from table 1 star, means all the records from table 1, from table 1 comma table 2. So what this is representing, so table 1 comma table 2 is representing us the cross join. Okay, so cross join scenario they are asking to you. So what cross join will do, cross join will find the Cartesian product of first table left table into the into the number of rows of right table. So basically cross join will do the Cartesian product of number of rows from left table to right table. Okay, so here right table has 100 rows. Okay, so right TBL1 has 100 rows. Okay, TBL1 equals to 100, but TBL2 has how many records? TBL2 has 0 records. Okay, so TBL2 has 0 record. Then we do a cross join on top of this particular table 1 and table 2, then we will find out the answer as 0, because 100 into 0 will be 0. So this is a very tricky question. Okay, so keep in mind, like our result will be 0 in case of cross join, because cross join is finding out the Cartesian product of left table and right table rows. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next question is, write a query to print 1 to 100 in SQL Server without using loops. Okay, so this is a very important question, and here basically what we need to apply, we need to apply the concept of CT, and not the simple CT, it's a recursive CT. Okay, because we don't need to use the loop. Okay, so how we will do this without using the loop, printing 1 to 100? So for this you need to use the CT. So write the CT with CT, CT name, from with clause CT is started, and then you need to provide the name of the CT with CT, and then as, and then in the parenthesis your statement will come. So what statement we are going to write? We are going to write like select 1 as number. Okay, so there is a column number which has the value of 1, and then we need to do union all, union all. So here we will use the recursive CT, we will fetch the record from the same CT. So some of the time these questions will also be asked, like what is the recursive CT. So if a CT is referencing itself inside itself, so in that scenario the CT is called the self referencing or recursive CT. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Now select 1 as number, and then you need to write union all, select number equals to number plus 1, number, number number plus 1. Okay, so currently our number is 1, and we are doing number plus 1, number equals to number plus 1. From here we will reference the same CT, from CT, and then we will write a condition like where number number is less than 100. Okay, because till 100 we need to write. And now when you execute this using the select statement, so basically this point is also need to be noted, that a CT can be executed just after it is created. Okay, from the select statement just after the creation of the CT, otherwise it will not be referenced. Okay, so if you write here like select star from CT, then execute this. So here you can see 1 to 100 number is printed without using the loops. Okay, 100 and then 1. So this is a very commonly asked question, so you must need to understand this particular query, and by using the loop we can achieve this very simply. Okay, so that we will mention in a different video when we will teach you the about the loops, then we will cover that part. So here basically they ask about how we can achieve without using the loop, or we can use the loop also. So for loop what you need to do, first declare one variable. So declare @I and then as integer, then initialize this, set @I equals to 0. Okay, and then at the rate I sorry I equals to 0, and then we need to start your while loop. So while @I is less than equals to 100, then what we need to do, then begin and end. So before ending this, now here what we need to do, begin and then print @I, and then here we need to initialize the I with a given value so that the loop will not go to infinite loop. Okay, so here we will initialize our I. So now put print I set @I equals to @I plus 1. Okay, now when you execute this, so here it's 1 I we need to put. Okay, now our loop is also ready. Now when you execute this, so it will print 1 to 100. Okay, this is clear to everyone. So it is printing from 0 to 100. So for removing 0 we need to set I equals to 1. Okay, now when you execute this, so this loop is also can be asked sometime, but mostly they ask about without using the loop, because from loop you can see it is very easy. Okay, so you can see till 100 we have printed using the loop also and using the CTE also. So basically this question is asked to check your CTE knowledge. Now move on to the next question. Okay, so fifth question is completed. Now sixth one, write a query to calculate number of a in the string Vikas. Okay, so like this they will provide you one string and they will ask to find out, count the number of, calculate the number of a. Okay, so we will copy the whole query. Okay, so for doing that what we need to use, so this is also a very tricky question. So for finding out the number of Vikas, it is a very simple query. So what you need to do, you need to do like select select length of Vikas. Length function we will use, select length of Vikas, and then once we get the length of Vikas, and then we will get the length of Vikas without a, then in that case we can subtract that from the total and we will find out the number of a. So second will be comma length of Vikas, length of replace function also we need to use, and this length function, replace function, every function we have covered in our videos, and that link you can find on our description. Or if you don't find on our description, then you can go to our channel and then find the video and check the video, because those videos are very initial and very important to learn. So once you will go through that those videos, then you will be able to do the queries very easily and understand them also very easily. That will be better for you and us also, so that we can tell you very properly. Then length replace, what we need to replace from Vikas, we need to replace what we need to replace, we need to replace a, and from what value we need to replace, we need to replace with blank value. Okay, now when you execute this, then here one parenthesis is pending. Now when you execute this, what result you are getting, so length will be 8 and without a the length is 4. So a is number of a is 4. Okay, so this is clear for, to everyone. Now here you can mention the alias also. If you are giving interview, then you can put a alias also, with a, like alias like with a, and then as without a, WITHOUT without a. Okay, now when you execute this, then it will be visual very proper. With a 8 record, without a 4 record. So a is number of a, 8 minus 4 4. Okay, so this is clear. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, so what would be the output of the below query. So basically they will provide this query to you and then ask for the output of this particular query. Now we will copy the whole question and put it on SSMS, then we will check to resolve this. Okay, so this is a very simple question, but it's a bit tricky. When they ask in the interview, then you can be able to we cannot be able to give the answer sometimes, but sometime you can give the answer if you have done the practice and all, and if you have gone through the videos, so you can be able to resolve them. Okay, so here you can see, by seeing this only you can tell that this particular query will return us error, because here we are selecting one and then performing a union all on two, but we are not mentioning any column for them, and we are using this particular statement as a derived table. Okay, so when you execute this, so it will ask you for no column name was specified for column 1 of M. So in the place of this, if they will provide like this query, so copy the same query and then paste it, and then like select 1 as A, okay, and 2 as A, then this particular query will provide you the result like 1 and 2. Okay, so this query will be correct, but the above query will be incorrect. Okay, so like this is the only answer you can provide to the interviewer. So this is it. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the eighth question. What will be the output for below query? So this is the query and they will ask for the output of this query. Now copy the whole question and we will go and check on SSMS the output for this. Okay, so basically while giving the interviews you don't have the access to SSMS, and also that is why you can't be able to execute the queries, because generally they ask you to go to notebook or something like that, where you can't execute the query. You just need to see the query and provide the answer to them. So if you have seen the queries one time, then you can be able to answer it very quickly. So what would be the output of the below query? So here what they are doing, they are performing select sum of A as sum from, select 1 as A, union all, select null as A. So 1 and null will be the output of this particular query. So if you execute this, so we are getting A as 1 and null, and then after at the outside query they are performing the sum of A. So sum of A will come as 1 because null is uh, unknown value. Okay, so now execute the whole query, then we will check. So with a sum column the value of 1 is coming. Okay, so this will be the output for this particular question. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, so ninth question, for 5 by 2 I want result as 2.5. How you would do that in SQL Server? So basically here you can see both the columns are integer 5 and 2. Okay, so if we find the 5 by 2, so we'll remove this and then paste the new question. So if you find out 5 by 2, then in general it will provide you 2 to the 4, means 2 as the output. So when you do a select for this, select this 5 by 2, so what output it is providing to us? So it is providing like 2, because they are not getting the decimal places, because this particular is a integer data type. Now if we want the record to be printed in 2.5, then we need to cast this particular digits into float. So how to do that? So now select 5 by 2. Similarly we can copy this and do it below this, then we can add a cast function. So cast 5 as so cast 5 as float. Okay, this is it, and then cast 2 as float. Okay, cast 2 as float. So float by float will provide the result as float. Okay, and integer by integer is providing the result as integer, and float by integer is providing the result as float also. Okay, so now when we execute this particular query, so this will provide us 2.5 as the output. Okay, so this is the final answer that you need to provide to the interviewer, that we need to cast both 5 and 2 to float, and then we need to execute the query. Okay, so here you can combine, execute this. So here you can see first one is providing result to 2 and second one is providing 2.5. So this is clear to everyone. Now move on to the last question of today's video, and part 2 for TCS interview question will be released very soon. We have prepared the script, we are just going to load the video for that. Okay, so what will be the output of the following query? So now copy this and then we will check on SSMS what will be the output of the given query. Okay, so for part 2, be ready for part 2. First prepare this part 1 and we will launch that part 2 very soon. So be ready for that. So here what they are doing, finding the output of the following query. So here just select case statement. When 1 equals to 1, then SQL tutorial means this particular will be written. SQL tutorial will be written. And when 2 equals to 2, then abcacho. Okay, our channel name will be printed. Else our complete channel name will be printed like SQL tutorial abcacho and as name 1. So what the case statement will do, if it find the first statement to be true, then it will print the first statement only. Okay, so when you execute this, so we are getting only SQL tutorial because 1 equals to 1 is correct, then it is not going to the other one. Okay, and when you remove this first one condition and keep the second two conditions, now execute this, then we are going to find out the second, which is abcacho, our channel name. Okay, 2 equals to 2, then abcacho. And then when we remove the whole condition, how we will remove, or okay, we will make this particular condition as wrong. So 2 equals to 3 we can make, and then execute this, then we are getting the third option, which is SQL tutorial abcacho. So basically the final output is, the output for this particular query will be SQL tutorial 1 equals to 1 case. Okay, so this is clear to everyone, and thank you for watching. Many more videos are going to come. HCL interview questions we have also prepared, PwC questions we have also prepared, and many other companies, many big four company also we have prepared. So be ready for that. And for any data requirement, data set or table requirement, you can go to our SQL tutorial abcacho Telegram channel, where you will find out all the table scripts, data and all, and anything important related to the course we will load that. And in few days we are going to provide you a full tutorial, full course on SQL Server, that will be of 6 to 7 hours like that. And once we reach the milestone of 500 subscriber, then we are going to launch the master series on SQL Server, which will cover from zero to hero each and every concept of SQL Server it will contain. Okay, so thank you for watching. Do like, share and subscribe, and we will meet up in the next video. Thank you everyone. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can comment us and you can contact us also. So thank you everyone. Thank you.